How network ACLs are configured in load balancers. Security groups are easy and you can set them up for all the EC2 instances. So ACLs for load balancers. This is our setup. Load balancer is in a public subnet with network address CIDR 102.78.10.0/24 and EC2 instances are in a private subnet with CIDR 102.78.20.0/24. Let's see all the inbound and outbound traffic to and from the public subnet with load balancer node. Let's isolate these requests and responses. This is our load balancer node in a public subnet. We have internet at one end and private subnet at the other end. We have HTTP request in from internet to the public subnet and its corresponding response out. Also, we have a request out from the public subnet of load balancer node to private subnet of the EC2 instances and its corresponding response in. Not only that, we have a set of request out and response in for health checks. As load balancer health checks always ping the EC2 instances, we'll have to make sure that we allow firewall rules for the request to go out and response to come in for health checks. These are the inbound rules for load balancer public subnet. We have HTTP or HTTPS requests coming from internet on port 80 because that's where we're running our Apache. And the second rule is for response coming in from private subnet. These are the outbound rules for load balancer public subnet. Traffic out to health check ports, instance application port where application is running. In our case, it should be 80 and all outbound responses to internet. You have to set up proper NACLs for your private subnet as well to allow load balancer traffic. As I said, security group setup should be pretty easy. Let's see how the requests and responses for our private subnet would look like. This is our private subnet and EC2 instances behind that private subnet. We have HTTP request in from load balancer node and its corresponding response out. This is for the listener. And also we'll have request in and its corresponding response out for health check. So we'll have to make sure that all these are taken care of in the network ACL of private subnet. Let us set up a new load balancer from ground up with all the configurations. In this demo, we'll also see other components like sticky session, connection draining, etc. How to add already running EC2 instances to a load balancer. I have created this VPC, ELB-VPC with CIDR block 10.20.00/16. The VPC has an internet gateway attached, ELB-VPC-IGW. I have created 5 subnets. I want 2 of them to be public and 3 of them to be private. All the 5 subnets are residing only in 2 AZs, US East 1A and US East 1C. Public 1A is in US East 1A, public 1C is in US East 1C, and private 1C is in US East 1C. Private 1A1, private 1A2 are in US East 1A AZs. I want to make these subnets as private subnets and these as public subnets. 2 route tables have been created, public route table and private route table. If you see public route table's routes, it has an internet gateway attached to it. These 2 subnets have been associated with public route table. That means they are public subnets because it has an internet gateway associated with them. In private route table, there's no internet gateway association. It cannot talk to the internet. And these 3 subnets have been associated with the private route table. So private 1A1, private 1A2 and private 1C have become private subnets. Let us go ahead and launch EC2 instances in all these 3 private subnets. So launch one EC2 instance in each of these private subnets. I have launched 3 EC2 instances, private 1A1, private 1A2 and private 1C. All these EC2 instances are in different private subnets which we just created. Before creating the load balancer, I want to remind you that we have created 2 public subnets, public 1 and public 1C. Both are in the same AZs as that of the private subnets. We have created 3 private subnets in 2 AZs, US East 1A and US East 1C. US East 1A contains 2 subnets and US East 1C contains 1 subnet. The public subnets have also been created in US East 1A and US East 1C AZ. These are the same AZs where our private subnets reside. Let's create the load balancer now. This is what things will change. Instead of the default VPC, we'll select our VPC which we have just created, ELV-VPC. We'll keep the listener configuration as is. Now, if you see at the bottom, it asks you to select subnets. Now, these subnets are for the load balancers, not for the EC2 instances. Here, whatever subnets I choose, the load balancer nodes would be created in those subnets, not the EC2 instance. Remember this. You have seen the load balancer architecture. I have told you that the subnets of the load balancer should be public one and they should reside in the same AZ as that of the EC2 instances subnet. In our case, you have three subnets which are private and they are in AZ US East 1 and US East 1C. So you'll have to select public subnets in the same AZs, which you have already created. Public 1C and public 1A. These are the two subnets where the load balancer nodes would be created. We'll see shortly. One more thing, the load balancer name cannot be more than 32 characters. So I have reduced the characters and renamed it as AWS Foundation-CLV. We'll keep the security group as is. This is where we'll configure health check. For things to become faster, I'll reduce some of the times. For example, I'll reduce the interval time to 6 seconds and also the healthy threshold. And this is where we'll add the EC2 instances in classic load balancer. We'll be adding all the three EC2 instances, private 1A1, private 1A2 and private 1C. All these belong to the private subnets. The load balancer has been created. Let's see a few of the information here. If you see, there are multiple tabs: description, instances, health check, listeners, monitoring, tags and migration. First, let's see the things which you already know. The listeners. This is what we had set up, the load balancer protocol and load balancer port, which corresponds to instance protocol and instance port. In both the cases, it is HTTP and 20. You can change the listener port also. If you move your application, say, from port 80 to port 8080, then if you change this one, your load balancer port 80 would be mapped to instance port 8080. The health check setup which was done, we chose the health check protocol to be HTTP and the port to be 80 and the path to be index.html. And the response timeout was selected as 5 seconds and the interval was 6 seconds. So that means every 6 seconds, health check would ping all the EC2 instances. The number of unhealthy threshold and healthy threshold count are same, which is 2. You can edit the health check from here. You can change the protocol from HTTP to any of the others, TCP, HTTPS or SSL. You can change the ping port also. If you decide that you do not want a health check to ping on the same port where our application is running, you can do that. Similar is the case with ping path and all the other information. Now in the instances tab, you can find that all these three instances and the state of the instances are in service. That means they are up and running and load balancer can talk to them. They are healthy. There has been no problem. You can remove one of the instances or all of them from the load balancer if you want. These are the AZs where the instances are residing. Then we have edit AZs. Now these are AZs for the load balancer nodes. These are not for EC2 instances. If you see the subnets, these are the public subnets in these two AZs, US East 1 and US East 1C. We created these public subnets and added these subnets for our load balancer nodes. It is saying that AZ US East 1A has 2 instances and AZ US East 1C has only 1 instance, and both of them are healthy. We can remove the AZs from the load balancer. We'll do it in our later demo. Finally, in the description tab, we'll find a lot of other information. It says the name of the load balancer, which is AWS Foundation CLV. The type is classic because we created a classic load balancer. We can migrate it to other load balancers also. The load balancer is internet facing because we want everyone to access the load balancer and the EC2 instances, because the EC2 instances host web pages and these are the AZs for the load balancers, not for EC2 instances. I'll come back to these additional things later on. But first, the DNS name. This is the load balancer DNS name. That means if you have to access the web pages in the EC2 instances behind this load balancer, we'll have to use this load balancer DNS name. If you take the DNS name and use it with nslookup command, you'll see how many hosts or nodes are behind this DNS name. Let us go ahead and do that. This is the command nslookup, and I've given the DNS name of the load balancer. If you see, there are two hosts or two nodes. The reason for this one is we have two public subnets added for this load balancer. If we remove one of the public subnets, then the load balancer will have only one node. The final piece of the puzzle are the firewall rules. One of them is implemented using security group. So this is our security group E010. That is the default one, and we have allowed all inbound traffic and all outbound traffic. The reason for this is it's pretty easy to implement firewalls using security groups. Complication occurs in network ACLs. So in this case, we'll implement all our firewall rules using network ACLs. Let's see the architecture again. This is our scenario. We have two AZs, AZ1A, AZ1C. We have EC2 instance subnets, private 1A1 and private 1A2 in AZ1A, and one private subnet, private 1C in AZ1C. Similarly, we have load balancer subnets, public 1 and public 1C. These two are public subnets. Let's see the requests and responses from all these subnets. For public subnet, we have request coming in from internet and its corresponding response out for both the public subnets. Then from public subnet to private subnet, we have request going out and its corresponding response coming in. This request out and response in are for listeners. For health check also, we have separate set of requests going out and response coming in. Like this. Let's see the network ACLs and the firewall rules for the public subnet. We'll create only one NACL for the public subnet and associate it with both the subnets because the rules or the requests and responses are exactly the same. This is the network ACL which I have created, public NACL, and these are the rules. The first one is HTTP rule from everyone. There's a request in from internet. Rule number 200, 300, 400 are response coming in from all the private subnets, private 1A1, private 1A2, and private 1C. Rule number 999, I just want to show you that instead of putting all the private subnets separately, you could have put the entire VPC or entire router. I'll remove this one. For outbound, we have similar response going out to internet and request going out to all the three private subnets. And rule number 999, as I said, instead of putting individual private subnets, you could have mentioned the entire VPC network address also. I'll remove this one as well. Finally, the NACL has been associated with subnet public 1 and public 1C. These are the public subnets and these are load balancer subnets. Let's see the requests and responses for private subnets. We have request in from public subnet and its corresponding response out in both the cases. Then we have request in for health checks in both the cases as well. Request coming in and response going out for health checks. I'll create only one NACL and associate that with all the private subnets because requests and responses are same for all of them. These are the inbound rules from both the public subnets, load balancer public subnets that is, on port 80 and type HTTP and its corresponding response out. Now if you see here, we have not created separate rules for health checks. The reason being our health checks are also getting performed on the same ports as that of listener. The listener port is 80 and protocol is HTTP. Similar is the case with health check. The protocol is HTTP and port is 80. It doesn't make any sense that we create separate rules for health check. All these firewall rules will cover both listeners and health checks. Finally, this NACL has been associated with all the private subnets. Now let's see whether the load balancer works or not. If I paste the DNS name in my URL, now every connection should take me to different instances. Let's see whether it works or not. First time it has taken me to private 1A1 instance. In the next connection, it has taken me to private 1A2 instance. And the third time, it has taken me to private 1C instance. So if you see, we are having a round robin load balance distribution across all the EC2 instances. Let me show you again. So we have completed our load balancer setup using classic load balancer. One more thing which I want to mention is migration. You can migrate this classic load balancer to application load balancer also. Launch application load balancer migration wizard. You'll have to configure your application load balancer, and if you create, this classic load balancer will be migrated to application load balancer or network load balancer. The reason you'd want to migrate because AWS might deprecate classic load balancer shortly.